Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. This is the first sort of style of this sort of show we're going to do via YKTR Sports, where Luke is just going to ask me a bunch of questions and I'm going to answer it the best I can. Straight off the top of the dome, sort of no thought behind it, but just sort of roll straight into it. So let's get into it.
We'll come up with a name soon, huh?
Yeah, we'll get a name later.
All right, first one we've got the big game Thursday night. We're going to do it for Companion. What are the key matchups in Rabbitohs versus Panthers?
I think the biggest inclusion has been the one of Cody Walker coming back in. He's sort of like a good masseuse. Like once he sort of like he's freed everyone else up around him. Latrell Mitchell looks like a better player outside of him. Damien Cook, that's going to open up the game for him as well. Cody Walker's one of the best support players, and probably Abraham Reynolds' game last week was one of the best ones he had, where he can sort of just focus on his kicking game and getting the boys into certain positions. So, but I think the big key matchup is the Battle of the Nines. Damien Cook probably hasn't started the season as well as he would like. Obviously, with this new rule coming in, everyone thought he was going to be the guy that's just going to slay off the back of it and kill it. But that will come. Is he trying to force it at the moment? I'm not too sure. But the Battle of the Nines between him and Api Carousel. I think Api Carousel will go down as the buy of the year. I think he's opened up very much how Cody Walker's opened up the Rabbitohs. I think he's going to open up the Panthers, and he frees up Nathan Cleary and all that. But it should be one of the better Thursday night footy companions that we've covered. So really looking forward to that.
Yeah, a lot of good footy to watch, as opposed to some of the spankings that have been going out lately. All right, next one we've got is the Parramatta forwards. So blokes like RCG and Madison have been quite impactful for Para. How important are they to lay the platform for what the backs have been able to do? Yeah,
I think Junior Paulo has always been a rock solid guy for Parramatta for a long, long time. I think RCG's that. Like every prop needs a sort of little bash brother to go with, and you looked at Manly, they got Marty Tapau and Adam Whanua. You looked at all the good props. They've always got that other guy that they can sort of rely on. And RCG's that guy, obviously been a rep player, played for Kangaroos, played for the Blues. He just needed sort of a change of scenery. And I've never met a guy that has said a bad word about Brad Arthur. Never. Like anyone that's played from him, anyone that's been sacked by him, no one's ever said a bad word about him. And he always seems to get the best out of him. But yeah, I really like their forward rotation. There's a bit of variation in that. Sean Lane, really tall, really lanky, tough to tackle. Got Dill Brown there, who's a run threat, so that opens them up for the run. And then Ryan Madison, he's a sort of good outlet for Mitchell Moses, where he can sort of pass to Ryan Madison, and Ryan Madison can come up with a play. Used to be a 5'8" as well, so he's kind of got that, like, probably not as good as Wade Graham, but that sort of style of football about him, where he can run, he can pass, he can also kick. He's a big body. It's a good-looking body too. He's always got his shirt off and stuff like that. And then obviously Nathan Brown, even though he's probably the smallest guy in their pack by a country mile, but probably got the most heart. And obviously his discipline gets him in trouble sometimes. But you want that. If I'm a coach and there's a guy going out aggressive all the time, you want that. Very similar to Victor Radley at the Roosters. Like you're going to get like banged if you run it straight to him. I think Nathan Brown's got that. So. Nice dynamic there at Parramatta. Obviously got a little bit of a touch up from the Roosters late, but I think they're going to be there or thereabouts.
100%. All right, next one is the Broncos. Huge game this weekend versus the Titans. So then what's it like for a player with all the media pressure and whatnot that comes with it? Alex Glenn came out earlier in the week and was talking about the accountability.
Frustrated,
yeah,
he looked
100. Yeah. So what's that like from like a locker room perspective?
It's hard whenever you're on the losing side. No one quite knows the answer for it. Like the coaches will say stuff and like the players will say stuff, but I think there's a kind of creating a divide there. There's a divide there from somewhere. And I think a club like Brisbane, I think their older players have too much of a say. And they influence a lot of people. It's a one-team town. Like, everyone's around the Broncos, whether they're good or they're bad, but everyone's got their say. So it's a little bit harder. Very similar to the Warriors. When the Warriors are going bad, you got a whole country trying to bag you. Where if you're Cronulla and you're going bad, you've only got the Shire bagging you. And it's a little bit different. So it is hard. What it feels like? It sucks. It sucks when you're losing. Like, weeks seem to drag out. Mondays fucking suck. You start thinking about other jobs, and videos hurt. They're tough to watch. And I don't know. You're just on edge. You're walking on eggshells. Mistakes seem to happen because you're playing like a little bit more tense and you're a little bit more tighter, and then you almost start to try too hard, and it kind of makes it worse. It's sort of that quicksand analogy. Like, the harder you fight, the quicker the quicker you sink. So when you're winning's one of the best feelings. Like, people are rocking out with a smile on their face, and videos are a bit shorter, and trainings are a bit shorter, and you're going through the games a little bit more fresher. Complete opposite of that. So that's what losing feels like. And then obviously you add the element of social media, of fans wanting answers, and a lot of the times you don't have the answer for it. So big game, a lot of pressure. You think of like two losing sides. yeah, everyone's like, you can feel the tension in the air. So it's a big game for the Broncos.
Is it like, are you rocking up to training the next day and you're like, fuck, did you see the boys on 360 or did you see Gussie Gould hammering me last night? Does that sort of happen, or is it like you block it out and you're focused on you?
I think you don't really, you'll hear those things, but you wouldn't really bring them up or stuff like that. You try and keep everything in house. So like a lot of times when you're in teams, they're like, whatever happens between these four walls stays in between these four walls, and once stuff starts leaking out, that's when you know there's cracks in the club, because someone in the media department's leaking out shit, or players are getting angry and talking to people and it's getting about. So like you never really hear bad stuff like from Melbourne Storm or Roosters. Like Roosters probably could have a punch up at training, you probably wouldn't hear about it. Because they're such a strong club that it's within the four walls, where once you've got the media spotlight on you, they seem to pick up every little thing and like stuff like that. And they have a fight at training, I bet you'll be in the paper the next day. So that's the difference between good clubs and bad clubs. Not good clubs and bad clubs, but clubs that are winning and clubs that aren't.
Yeah. Obviously, the bubble got popped this week for the boys. They can sort of venture out of the house, go to cafes and things like that. How much of an impact is that going to have for a player's mindset?
Yeah, good, because obviously not everyone's the same. Like everyone thinks all players should act the same, talk the same, be the same, think the same. Like not all players, they care about winning, but they don't drag it out through the whole week. And I think the bubble getting popped is a great thing. If the rest of society can go out, like why can't these guys? Like I think smart by Vlandy's banning pubs. That just stops trouble from happening in any way, shape or form. That's fucking the smartest thing. And I think that'll last probably good 8 weeks, 9 weeks, 10 weeks, if not the whole season. So, just the fact that the boys can go out and have a coffee and mingle. And like I talk to a lot of football players and they're calling me up on phones just because the boys are bored and shit. Yeah. So, the fact that the boys can come through the office, have a chat and talk about a few different things, and you're not just in your little bubble of going to training, going home, going training, because you feel trapped. Yeah. And then you got to go out and perform, come home. And most of the time when you're at home, you're just on your phone anyway. So it's a lot of negative noise. So I'm pumped for the boys to be able to get out.
And probably the last one for today, the Melbourne Storm boys, if you're the card gang, they've relocated their game to Cographer this week, given the bit of a COVID outbreak in Melbourne. What are your thoughts on that? Yeah,
it's Melbourne. They're just going to rock up and do what they do. They don't let sort of those types of things affect them. I've seen Welsh sort of come out and go, Warriors have paid a bigger sacrifice than that. So, that Bellamy will find some little way to tweak it and they'll just sort of rock up here. Who are they playing?
Warriors. That's why. That
okay. That's why. More. Yeah. It's going to be an interesting game because there's always that sort of analogy of like beware of the team that just had their coach sacked the week before. So that's happened to them, and they're just going to go out and play a bit, or could go the other way. Like they've been over here for like 10 weeks now. They're a little bit deflated. Now their coach is gone. Yeah. Could work either way. It could be a freshen up or a damner. So Melbourne just going to do what Melbourne do and do Melbourne things and probably win.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right, we'll wrap it up there. Good little one.
Chibble.